Welcome to Stokes House Boxing Academy YouTube channel with Coach Stokes. First and foremost, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your shares, and especially your subscription. Who is Coach Stokes? Where is he from? Why should I value any information that he delivers to me? Who were some of his coaches? And was he even good at boxing? What drives his passion to teach this sweet science? And if he chooses to work with me, how is he going to build my character? How is he going to make me a more skilled boxer? How can he inspire me as a coach? How can he support me as I coach my child in a sport that they love? And what can he teach me about raising a champion, about being a champion, and about inspiring a champion mindset? Stay tuned. Coach Stokes talks about his expertise, his background, and his passion. Enjoy this interview. Coach, tell us a little bit about your childhood and where you come from.
I was raised in upstate New York by my grandmother, peace be upon her, Martha Ferguson. I was product of a mom who was a young mother, who was 15 at the time, so that's why my grandmother ended up raising me. But I was raised in Rochester, New York, and I had a good childhood. You know, my grandmother, my grandfather, before he passed of cancer. You know, my cousins. You know, male cousins, female cousins, my aunts, my uncles, you know, went to church. It was a great life.
Coach, tell us a little bit about how you got into boxing.
Good question. I got in boxing from a friend of mine that was in junior high school by the name of Charles Cruz, nicknamed Killer, who was known all over the city for causing havoc when it came to boxing. He was really, really good. What's up, Killer? How you doing? If you see this, man, yo, always give shouts out to you, one love. But I used to follow him. Every week he'd come in with his medals or his trophies. I'd be like, yo, Killer, what's up, man? Yo, how you doing? And he's like, man, I'm doing this, I'm doing good. I went to Canada. And you gotta understand, a kid from, Rochester, I'm like, you went to Canada? And he like, yeah, I go to Canada like every other month. So he always would try to get me to come work out, come to the gym. But I was like, nah, I'm playing basketball, man. I'm not gonna do that. I'm a pretty boy. But then this is how funny things are. A mutual friend of ours in school started going to the gym. So I was like, oh man, it's going. And we both was on the same basketball team. And just to let you know where I was at, he was going. He went for a week, 2 weeks. Before you know it, it was a month, and he's doing good. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna get any taller. My game is okay, but you know what? Let me try boxing. So I went to the gym.
So you went to the gym. What happened after that?
Went to the gym, and it was like a lot of kids, from different hoods. And I'm from the west side, Rochester. So it was dudes from west side, the east side, wherever. So we got to know each other. You get introduced. So they asked me if I wanted to spar. I was like, I don't know. They said, nah, come on, man. Come on, you got to spar, man. This is how you actually, earn your stripes. So I was like, all right. So they put me in there. I didn't know they put a mouthpiece in my mouth. I didn't know where the hell it came from, but put it in there, put the headgear on, something that I never had before, and the gloves. And I was spar with some dude who was like his second day. It was my first day. And next thing you know, we just boxing. We just going around, he's waiting for me to punch. I'm waiting for him to punch. The next thing you know, man, he threw a punch and I kind of reacted. And the next thing you know, we start boxing. And I come back out and my hands are, I'm like, oh man, okay, I didn't get hit. Yo, my man Killer says, Steve. But I didn't know during boxing, you're supposed to listen with your ears. I tell my son all the time, listen with your ears, don't turn your head. Because if you turn your head, you're going to get hit with something. I turned my head. Next thing you know, he caught me, knocked my mouthpiece clear out across the gym floor, the rec center. Man, I was heated. Yo, everybody started laughing. They washed the mouthpiece off, put it in my mouth. Next thing you know, we going back at it, and we were swinging. And I remember I closed my eyes and I must have connected and I hit and I seen him. But then, when I hit him and I opened up my eyes, I didn't see him anymore. I'm like, man, what happened? I had knocked him down, man. And when I knocked him down, that was it. I was like, yo, this is for me.
Coach, tell me about your training and your first fight.
Training in the beginning, I'm come from an old school boxing gym, so training was straight. Positioning of the body. If you're a righter, seeing if you're a right-handed or a southpaw, orthodox or left-handed, and then just going from there. So I didn't have my first fight until about 6 to 8 months. So I was throwing a jab every day, non-stop, going from one end to the rec center to the next end. And my boys can verify this. My boys Robert Push-Up Frazier, Arnold Henderson, all those guys that's in the box game. Jimmy Bunley, you guys know what we did at Avenue D. So imagine like a full-length basketball court and you going from one end to the other end for like an hour and a half, 2 hours straight. Besides running, doing sit-ups, calisthenics, things like that. So my jabs got good. It went from good to great. And that's all I did, jab, jab, jab. So that's why I know for a fact I concentrate so much on the jab, because that's all I did. So when my jab got really that nice and when it was time for me to have a fight, my first fight was in the Junior Olympics. It was in the Inner Districts in Buffalo, New York. And my family came up to see me, and I had a walkover. I didn't have nobody in my weight class. I was fighting 132 at that time, lightweight. And they didn't have nobody. So my family came to see me fight. And I was like, I ain't got no fight. And they was like, oh man. So I was like, man, my family gotta see me fight. So there was another kid, he had a walkover. And when I tell you this, you ain't gonna believe this, but yo, this is the real. My first fight was against a super heavyweight. Yeah, super heavyweight, 132 and super heavyweight, 201 plus. So this kid, he was like a tad bit shorter than me, but he was round, he was big. So I was like, forget it, I wanna fight him. They was like, come on, man. I was like, I want to fight him. It's an exhibition. It ain't gonna count. We both going to the regionals, so let's do it. And my mans can tell you the truth. Arnold Henderson, Isaac Randall, Jimmy Buntley, Robert Push-Up Frazier, Charles Killer Cruz, they all can tell you what I did. So what I did, I ended up boxing that dude, man, and we went 3 rounds. But let me tell you, it's my first fight. Yo, when he was laying on me, or he got a chance to lay on me, I thought I was dying. Because them 201 plus pounds that was laying on me, it was no joke. But I ended up fighting him. It was supposed to be an exhibition, but I won the fight. That was my first boxing match. But the key to that was my jab. And then the more and more I fought, man, people started, my nickname that I had, people bestowed upon me was the jab master. So that's what, I love the jab. Jab is the key. Not the key, but it's one of my favorite punches. It is my favorite punch.
Now let's talk about your transition out of Avenue D and into Montgomery Boxing Gym and your relationship with Coach Peak.
That was a fun one. I got introduced, I already knew if you were in the city and you're you are in the game when it comes to, it could be basketball, football, whatever the case may be, the certain coaches and the players that go, or that are on those certain teams. So in the boxing world, it's even that much more smaller. So I was leaving Avenue D and going over to pretty much our rivals, who was Montgomery Boxing Club, all right, who was coached at that time by Gloria Peak, one of the 3 coaches I mentioned. So Gloria, my cousin Tony at that time was working for Xerox, and Xerox was doing was building a gym or granting a ring to a boxing club, and that happened to be Montgomery Boxing Club in a new gym at that time, new facility. So my cousin was like, hey man, you need to check out this coach Gloria Peak with Montgomery Boxing Club. I said, yeah, I know about her. We was cool. I mean, we was all cool. I mean, I think the safe to say Coach was always like a fan of my style and I boxed, because she always came, spoke to me and I always spoke to her. And then, you know what? I just got so tired of the the boxing over at Avenue D, nothing against it, but I had grew out of what was going on over there. You know, it was so saturated when it came to fighters. I needed that personal attention, and Coach Pete could give it to me. She had a smaller club. It was a lot more disciplined, but I knew this is what I needed to be great. So I went over there. Man, it was great, man. With Coach's reason, one of the reasons why I went to the Marine Corps. That's the only reason I went to the Marine Corps. She had Marine officers coming over from the ROTC program in the University of Rochester, and they would exercise with us. They would PT us. They would kill us, man. But that's how I knew, you know, about the Marine Corps. I went to the Marine Corps, but the things that I accomplished under Coach Peak, man, it was, you know, I won my fights locally, regionally, you know, I won. And not only that, I went to National Gold Gloves. I won the Empire State Games in New York, and that's like, you know, if you are a New Yorker and you're an athlete, you know about the Empire State Games. That is like the Olympics for the entire state of New York, and I won it, which is a huge accomplishment. You know, had me newspapers, radio stations, stuff like that. But not only that, Coach Peak taught me how to be accountable, man. You know, I didn't learn that in the Marine Corps. I learned that way before I went to the Marine Corps. You know, I learned it through my grandmother, and I learned it through Coach Peak. Who are two women, two black women, mind you. You know, they had to deal with adversities, man. My grandmother's a single parent grandmother, and then Coach Peak as a single black woman in the sport of boxing. And to this day, like I told you, she's the first and only ever woman to coach men on USA Boxing Olympic level. So, you know, Coach Peak, man, I thank you for the things that you've done for me, because you're the reason why I'm such the boxing junkie I am today.
All right, Coach, let's talk the Marine Corps and your time on the boxing team.
Well, the way that I am is, Coach Stokes, I don't like being the norm. I don't like doing what everybody else is doing, you know, so if everybody is running in one direction, I'm the only cat that's looking in the other direction, seeing what's going on. I've always been that way. That's why I went to the Marine Corps. And then not only that though, when I was in the Marine Corps, man, I learned a lot of things, man. I did, you know, all those people that had my back during that time, I appreciate what you did. When it came to the boxing team, I got introduced Coach Roosevelt Sanders, Rosie. Hey, Coach Sanders, how you doing? Coach Sanders is probably one of the biggest mentors in my life, not only just as a boxing coach, but as a father figure to me, because he is a man that that's just world renowned when it comes to boxing, when it comes to anything, doing anything logistically when it comes to boxing. He can do it. He's a genius. Man, one thing I want to say is this: I hate to my own horn. I do, and my wife don't like when I don't volunteer what I've done. So, you know, I'm gonna try my best to let you know what's going on. But when I was in the Marine Corps, man, I was 7-time All-Marine champion, Armed Forces champion. CISMs is the World Military Boxing Games. It's like the Olympics for the military. They have for every sport, you know. So I was bronze medalist in that, competing against, you know, other competitors from other militaries like Russia, Asia, India, Africa, you name it, every continent. The U.S. Nationals, the highest ranking I ever been in the country was number 3, which you know, afforded me the chance to be on the U.S. Olympic team. You know, back then, you know, they had the Operation Gold program where, you know, if you make a certain, 1, 2, or 3 in the country, you know, they will give you a stipend. You will be on a monthly stipend, getting paid. I was fortunate enough to do that for a year. Man, international duels, national duels, you name it, I did it. But the most important thing to me, because people always ask me, like, why didn't you go pro? You know what? Pro would have been great. And I think I would have been decent as pro. But during that time, I was getting burnt out. The most important thing to me when I think about when I go on these trips now or anything I've done in boxing was the people that I met. Because there's still individuals that I keep in contact with, man, to this day, man. Or I re-link up with, and it's like, man, I ain't seen you. Last time I saw you was like 96, 97, you know? I'm giving away my age, man. I'll be 45 this year. I had a young man tell me the other day about marketing on social media going on. He was telling me, yeah, don't be like one of them old guys. And I'm like, oh yeah, them old guys, they kill me. Yeah, I'm an old guy, I guess. But while I was in the Marine Corps, I would say the most beneficial thing that I learned was integrity and doing, standing behind your word. And to this day, if you are a person of integrity, you can count on me 100%. But if you are a person that has ulterior motives and want to do other things, I shut off. I stay away from you. So that's the type of person I am, because that's the type of leadership I have that was instilled in me.
All right, Coach, let's talk life after boxing.
Once I got out of the Marine Corps and I was done completely with boxing, this was a dark time in my life because, everything I shouldn't have been doing, from me running 3, 4, 5 miles a day, me being in peak top condition, mental wise, man, I stopped doing that. I wasn't not boxing anymore. I was going out, I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing, it was not good for me. So then, now on top of that, but I was married. I had a previous marriage before the marriage that I'm in now, with my wife. But it just didn't work, and nothing against, either one of us, but it just didn't work. So life after the Marine Corps was rough, but I'm gonna tell you this right now, I turned it around, and you can turn it around. You want to go to people that have been through things where if you go through it, it's like they can tell you what's going on. They understand what's going on. Someone who's never been blemished, or someone who's never been out and who's not callous, who don't know what it's like to be hit or knocked down, can't get up and tell you, what you need to do. But I've been knocked down so many times where it's like, I used to hate it. I really used to dislike it. But you know what? It's boxing. Life is like boxing. You get hit hard, you get jarred, or you get dazed. It's like you gotta shake it off. You might have to grab them, tie them up, just so you can get your composure back again. That's how life is. And one thing I did do was I kept dabbling. I kept amongst boxing. As bad as I didn't want to be around it, people used to always tell me this: "Hey Stokes, man, you need to get back into boxing. You need a coach if you're not gonna be fighting." Nah, man, I'm not doing this. But there always would be somebody that would come up and ask me something, and then I would give them education on how to throw a jab, or how to move, or your chin is sticking up too high, or you need to bend your knees that much more. I'm like, man, this is what I do. So me going back to school for a purpose that I actually want to get into, which was law enforcement. No, I'm in my true purpose, and it chose me, and it's boxing, and I'm loving what I'm doing.
What did you accomplish when you went to school?
I got an associate's degree, a bachelor's of science degree in criminal justice, juvenile justice, and then I got a master's of science in criminal justice with an emphasis in global terrorism. So that's my, and I can go anywhere with that. You don't have to just be a peace officer. You can go anywhere when it comes to criminal justice. My biggest thing is I want to give back to the community like they did to me, helping saving me get off the street. So I want to do the same thing when it comes to these young men and women that's out there, because I know, there's somebody like me that was in a single parent household, who's with their grandparents, who, may be stuck and thinking like, man, I don't want to be here. I want to get out of here. So, that's what I'm doing.
So, Coach, what made you step back into boxing?
I had this idea that I wanted to be a boxing promoter, so I stepped into the Ring of Fire, with my better half, my wife, and we did that for we looked into it about a good year. But it turned me off so bad because I saw how they were treating the fighters during the process. A lot of these promoters aren't, fighters like myself, and that's one thing I always tell the fighters, like, I am a fighter first and then a promoter second, but it's a fine line because majority of them are businessmen and they want that money. They're looking at the fighters as just, it felt like a piece of cattle, that it was just, hey, here you go. I see guys coming up with money, coming up short with money. You name it, I've seen it, man. I did not want to be a part of that. It really turned me off. So then, you know, I walked away from the promoting thing.
What made you want to step into the role of coaching?
On the real, what made me coach was my son. And the things that he was doing, like, you know, I wouldn't shadow box in front of him. I didn't do none of that, man. You know, if anything, you know, we'd be out and people talk about boxing. But, you know, the funny thing is this, your kids are genuine. When they see that you have a love and a purpose for something that's pure to you, it attracts them. So as much as I was trying to stay away from boxing, it was calling me back. So then I was training up in Dublin, California at Combat Sports Academy, training with the professional Muay Thai fighters and MMA guys up there. So I think I was up there for like a good 2-3 weeks before he wanted to start training with me. So I would be inside the little makeshift, it was like a cage that they had on the side. So I would always have my fighters over there, my personals, if I was inside the ring. So one day he was just looking, and he's like, he wanted to come inside there. And I was like, nah. And my wife's like, no, he wants to hit the pads. All right. So he started hitting the pads, but he was watching everything that I was doing. And mind you, at this time he had to be 4 or 5, I think. Probably just turned 5, and he just started picking up, man. So then I started working with him, and then next thing you know, man, it went from just not working with him, it was just like playing with him. You know, like he'd throw a jab, or he'd throw 1-2, and that was good. I never want to push him to a point where it's like, oh, okay, then I'm tired, or this seemed like work for him. It became a game for him, and that game became something of importance where it's like, man, you know, this is me. This is what me and Daddy got. And to the point now where, man, he gets in there, it's different levels, different stages, but he's to the point now where it's like, he knows the seriousness of this. And if we do this, we're not doing this just for participation. He's doing this because he wants to be the best. And I'm coaching him because I want to be the best coach for him. So that's what changed my whole mentality around when it came to boxing, because him, you know, I mean, I love working with fighters, but seeing my son, my blood, the things that I tell him, and he translates that into boxing, man, you can't beat that.
Coach, we just want to thank you. Thank you for your time, especially thank you for your sacrifice of time for those people that you train and you teach this sport to. Is there anything else you want to add as we wrap up this interview?
Hey everybody, you just have a little brief summary of me and my background, and you know why you need to roll with Coach Stokes. Those individuals that I mentioned, Gloria Peak, Coach Roosevelt Sanders, and Coach J.C. Davis. If you want to know about me, their names in the bottom of the bio. You can look them up and see the things that they have done. And the things that they have done, they have taught me, so I've received those exact same things. I don't want to be one of them type of coaches that talks about himself. Nah, I'm a firm believer of, you know what, it feels a lot better when other people do it for yourself. You know what, I want the people to crown me to say like, hey, Coach Stokes is the one to go to. So I want to be the people's coach. So check out this YouTube channel. It's for fathers, coaches, moms. It's for everybody. It's for the little kids that just want to, you know, try something that might be a little bit more advanced. Hey, go ahead and knock yourself out, because you won't, if you don't try it once, you're not going to know, you know, if you can do it at all. But go check it out, support us, leave comments, you know, go follow my YouTube channel, Stokes_boxing, excuse me, my IG, Instagram, Stokes_boxing, or, you know, leave comments on there as well. But always remember, what makes a champion? Things you eat, the times you sleep, the friends you keep, the knowledge you seek, and the words you speak. And then also, most importantly, the mantra, Stokes House Boxing Academy, strong get stronger, gas get longer, can't stop, won't stop, must go on.